Good evening, everyone. So today I came with the next discussion. Again, we are going to talk about corrosion measurement. It's a continuation of our previous discussion. So before going to talk about the topic, I would like to share that I have created one Google Classroom link that has been already shared with you. If you have not looked out that link, please check your email and go through this link where you can find out the reading materials. Several research articles and other chapters are already uploaded. I have also uploaded previous lectures, and even you can see our course structures, so which I have divided into 4 different units. So first unit, as already I have covered during our classroom discussion, and then the second unit, which is a little bit lengthy, that is the corrosion engineering, basically the corrosion measurement, which we are going to talk right now, and also we are talking from last 2 3 lectures. So you can see all these details there. Even there is an option to send your feedback, comments, queries. So I would love to interact with you on that platform. I also suggest, if you are interested, you can write me emails if you have any query or doubt. Maybe we can fix a suitable time for our discussion. So hope you will enjoy these lectures and you will go through that link which make our discussion more easier and more fruitful. So in today's talk about corrosion measurement, till date we have talked about 3 basic topics. The one was how we can measure the weight loss, and based on the weight loss, how we can calculate the corrosion rate, right? And then second topic, we have look out what kind of changes are happening at the surface and how we can utilize the surface characterization tool to analyze the corrosion or corrosion product and to understand the corrosion mechanism or what is the reason behind corrosion. That kind of understanding can be developed by doing the such kind of surface analysis, right? And then we move to the next topic, and in very brief we have discussed how we can use the electrochemical technique. So as we know, the corrosion is an electrochemical process, and that make it very useful. Like by using the electrochemical technique, we can easily identify what kind of corrosion is there, or at least we can get very good idea about the corrosion rate and some other parameters. So this is the very important topic here, and in this discussion we were talking about one theme, that was the polarization. We were talking about the electrochemical polarization. So what do we mean by polarization? So if you just recall our previous discussion, we talked like if there is an electrochemical cell, how it can be formulated. Let's say you have 2 electrodes, anode and cathode. Once these electrodes are emerged in the cell, due to the difference in the chemical potential of electrode material and electrolyte, there will be some charge transfer at the beginning. However, after some time, the system will reach to the equilibrium. When it will reach to the equilibrium, we can consider the chemical potential of electrode is equal to the chemical potential of electrolyte. Now there is no movement of the charges. There is net current flow is 0, and you can say that voltage difference between anode and cathode is also 0. So that is your equilibrium voltage, and you can say that is our equilibrium current, that is equals to 0. Now consider a scenario. Let's say we apply some external, very small amount of external current, and that application of external current will create some kind of movement in the charge carriers. So basically it will create a difference in the potential of electrode as compared to the potential of electrolyte. So there will be a potential difference. Why? Because application of the external current. So if that is the scenario, then we can say our electrode is polarized. So if you define how we define the electrochemical polarization, if there is a change of potential due to change in the intensity of the applied current passing through a working electrode is known as polarization. So based on the polarization, how we can analyze the corrosion, that we are going to learn today. So when a net current flow through the electrochemical cell lead to the difference between the potential E, then of course we can say that E will be equivalent to the E equivalent, means at equilibrium basically, plus eta. So eta, you know, this over potential, or you can say this over potential which is creating a kind of polarization, that will be equal to the potential E minus E equilibrium. So the over voltage depend on the current density. If you apply high current, then of course eta will be high. So where there is no net current flow, the over voltage is equals to 0. So that was all about polarization. So within the polarization, how we can do the analysis? So first of all, we are going to measure the polarization resistance. So what is the polarization resistance? Since we are already applying a current and we are going to measure or observe there is a change in the potential. So if we apply a very small current, we can measure a very small change in the potential, and if we can record this change and we plot like this plot. See the x-axis, this is 0 current to positive current, this side is microampere per centimeter cube. Let me select the pen. Okay, so this is the 0 and 0 to plus 40, and this is 0 to minus 40. Okay, and this unit is microampere per centimeter square. See, once we are applying this current in one direction, you can see there is a change in the voltage, that is the over potential. So over potential is recorded in millivolt and current is applied current is microampere. So the meaning is once we are going to apply a current, we are going to get a potential, and if we plot this, so within the small range of current, we are going to get a linear plot. So therefore, this linear plot can give the resistance similar like we measure the resistance in ohmic systems. So the over potential is small. This is basically a condition. In that case, the ratio of derivative of over potential to the current. So dV by di or d eta by di. Being the condition, eta is not so large, so less than, it's equivalent to the ohmic law, and this value, this basically this derivative or the ratio of voltage versus current, change in the voltage versus change in the current, can be termed as polarization resistance. So by using this data, we can calculate the polarization resistance in any system in an electrochemical cell. Now think about the corrosion perspective. So this formula is already given, like if RT is the constant, N is the number of electron, F is the Faraday constant, and I0 is the current during equilibrium. Then in general, RP depend upon this equation. So this is the well-known equation. I'm not going to talk here. You can just see these values. Or this RP can be also written, eta is equals to RP into I. Means if you know the over voltage, if you know the current flowing through the system, we can calculate the polarization resistance. So now one value, that is polarization resistance, is important. So this will change if there is a change in the electrolyte. This will change if there is change in the electrode, or if there is a change in the reaction between electrode and corrosion. So this is a kind of measure of our corrosion. So RP is having some kind of interlink or the connection with the corrosion. Let's see how. So the polarization resistance is defined as the slope of polarization curve. So here you can see the definition: slope of the polarization curve at the equilibrium potential. So Greens and Siemens suggested in their study that this slope of linear polarization curve means RP, resistance, polarization resistance, is inversely proportional to the corrosion rate. Means corrosion rate will be higher if this RP is lesser. If RP is high, the corrosion polarization resistance is high, then there will be a corrosion rate will be lesser. So this is the directly relation they have reported. Similarly, in other report, Stern and Gary, they have given like derivative over voltage versus applied current curve. Means RP is linear only in a small range. Means this plot from which we are calculating the RP is linear within a small range, 10 to 20 millivolt above and below the equilibrium potential. They have given this data, this is only linear. So if you just club these two, so the idea is if we are having a very small over potential, in that case our over potential versus applied current plot will be linear. By using that data, we can calculate the value of RP, and as for the Greens and Siemens, if we know the value of RP, then we have the indication of corrosion rate. So I think these two things are interlinked. In corrosive media, if you remember, the metal is generally oxidized and it follows this reaction. M is converting into M plus ions. Similarly, it gives the N electrons. And in other electrode, there is a two reaction. So just we are trying to understand a whole cell in which anode reaction is one side where metal is going to get oxidized or corrode, and the other side there is some other cathodic reactions. So which could be this depending upon the medium. If we are having the acid solution, then this first reaction will be there. If we are having alkaline solution, then second reaction will be there. If we have hydrogen evaluation, or if we have reduction of metal cations. So anything what is depend upon our medium, we are going to observe the different reaction in cathode. So this is basically in cathode and this reaction is at anode. So based on these two reaction, we may plot again this RP, and overall reaction can be plotted like this. So in x-axis, see, we plot the current density microampere per centimeter square, and in y-axis we plot the electrode potential. So if we plot these two and just consider we are having two separate half cell, one cell is anode and other cell is cathode. So if you plot, and as you know, we are going to get the linear relationship because the applied voltage, the applied current is very less, which is giving a very small over potential. Then what kind of things we are going to observe? So observation will be like this. See, this is the plot we are going to see in case of anode. Okay, this plot. If you see, this kind of variation will be there with respect to change in the current, with respect to change in the electrode voltage. Similarly, at the cathode, this kind of data you will observe. Means there will be decrease in the electrode potential when there is an increase in the current. Here, there is an increase in electrode potential with respect to increase in the current. So these kind of reverse relation we are going to observe. See, there is one point whether they are intersecting to each other. This point is very, very important, because if you just see the current corresponding to this interaction or this intersection, this current is known as corrosion current density, right? That is a very important parameter, and this corrosion current density can be written as I corrosion. See here. Similarly, the voltage at which these two lines are intersecting is known as corrosion potential, or open circuit corrosion potential. We can also say E corrosion. Similarly, if you just see this line, metal line, anodic line, there will be a point, or there will be a minimum current at which we can observe the oxidation reaction. So this is basically that minimum current in which we are able to see this type of change, and this is known as reversible equilibrium potential. So basically what is happening here, M is going to convert M plus 2 electron. So this is the reverse reaction. Here metal ion is attached with the electron. So this is the other way around, the reverse equilibrium potential, and this current is also known as exchange current density I0. Similarly, in this case, this reaction is 2s plus 2 electron is H2. But here H2 can form in 2s plus 2e. So that is another E equilibrium for H2, and this is E equilibrium for metal. So this is the one reaction which can basically explain the both of your electrode. So the corrosion potential at which the rate of oxidation of metal is equal to the rate of reduction of H plus. The point where both cathodic and anodic rates are equal is at the intersection of the cathodic line and anodic line. You have, this is the anodic line and this is the cathodic line. The point specified the corrosion potential, E corrosion and corrosion current. Now switch here. So at E corrosion, the rate of oxidation depends the rate of reduction and is equal to the corrosion rate. So we can say I corrosion is equals to I oxidation of metal, or similar equal to the I reduction of hydrogen. When the electrode is polarized, the over potential is written as eta is equals to E applied minus E corrosion, because E corrosion is at equilibrium, right, at 0. So at applied voltage, if we just calculate the difference, we can get the value of eta. So over potential can be calculated like this. Further, E applied is the potential of an electrode under polarized, because the over voltage is defined as previously we had not discussed here. If you just see the detail of polarization of electrode and how we can represent it, so we can write like eta is basically depend upon I0 value, which is the exchange current, and this is the exact current at particular voltage, applied voltage, and BC is a constant. So eta is depend upon BC log I upon I naught in case of cathodic current. Similarly, in case of anodic and cathodic, so this is the general. Now if you just, this general formula, if you convert it to anodic and cathodic, then in case of anodic it's become BA. A means anode log IO, and anodic and metal is there. So the I is metal current divided by I corrosion. Similarly, eta in case of cathodic is BC log IR for hydrogen, I corrosion. So these are the two equations. From here, we can again say these BA and BC are the constant and known as the anodic Tafel slopes and cathodic Tafel slope. Okay, and in this case, we can again represent this equation like this equation, this and this. Again, we can rearrange it in the 10 to the power of eta into Ba like this way. Similarly, minus Ba. So these two equations, if you just remove the logarithmic, become like this. So by using these two, we can just calculate I mean, average of I. Or further I mean can be calculated. You just do the recalculation. I'm just giving the steps. So eta upon I mean will be equal to BC upon BA 1.23 I corrosion BC plus BA. What is this eta I mean? This is an important point. It look like something voltage versus current. So what we can call it? RP, right? So because this is delta E upon delta I. So we can say from here I corrosion, we can take in this side, it become BC by BA, delta I by delta E, or I corrosion is become BC BA, this value 1 upon RP. So whatever we said in earlier, this RP is basically inversely proportional to the I corrosion that we have proved here. So that was given by Simpson. Or this equation is known as Stern-Gary equation. Assuming that the cathodic and anodic slope are constant for a particular metal in a given environment, then let's say BC and BA are constant or fixed. Once your metal is fixed, everything is fixed. Then of course, I corrosion will directly depend upon the RP, and K will be equal to this constant. And there are many materials in which K value is generally vary from 32 to 52 in case of metal solution interface. So this is the major equation by which we can calculate the I corrosion. So if you remember earlier, we talked how we can calculate RP. So there is different way to calculate the value of RP. If the constant BA and BC are given, then we can easily calculate the I corrosion. Now move to the next. So corrosion rate, how we can calculate the corrosion rate. Now you already know the RP, you know the value of corrosion current. Now the calculation of corrosion rate from the corrosion current. So I corrosion, you know how you can convert corrosion current to corrosion rate. So the current can be directly converted into the mass of the lost material by using Faraday law. And if you remember, Faraday law says Q is equals to N, the number of electron which is taking part, F Faraday constant, W is the weight of the species, and M is the molecular weight. Again, this formula can be written as, then here W is QM upon NF, or W is Q E omega. So E omega is the equivalent mass. So basically M divided by N is become E equivalent divided by F, or again we can write W is equals to Q can be written as I current is there which is flowing for T time, so become Q, so I into T, EW into F. So this weight can be calculated using this formula. If you know the value of current, corrosion current, if you know the how long this corrosion current is there, if you know the EW, and if you know the Faraday constant value, we can easily calculate the mass, which is basically transferring within this particular time interval. So let's say divide by the density of electrode material and geometry surface area. So the same equation, let's say W we are dividing by D by A, because it's become per unit area or per unit density, just to make unit. So ITUF D into A, this both equation. So this will become basically weight per unit time, weight per unit time, and weight which is D by A is known as the corrosion penetration rate, means how much material is degraded within per unit time. And this material is with this per unit area material and per unit density. So you can say the corrosion rate which is centimeter per second, can be written as I corrosion. See this equation into EW into density D, and F is Faraday constant, right? So this is the formula. By using this formula, we can calculate the corrosion penetration rate. So EW is known for a material, D is known for a material, Faraday is the constant. So again, if we can calculate just I corrosion, we can calculate the corrosion rate. So how we can I calculate I corrosion? If we can calculate the corrosion resistance. So again, overall things are depending upon the electrical polarization, electrochemical polarization, and that define the value of Rp, and value of Rp will define the value of I corrosion, and based on the value of I corrosion, we can calculate the CR. Again, here you can see like how CR can be converted into mile per year. So again, you can just convert into the microampere per centimeter square, this as per the base of the unit, and time into the year. So date is into year, coulomb charge into coulomb per second, density again in centimeter. Similarly, if you use these formulas, you can say the CR in MPY is equals to this. So if you are interested in centimeter per second, use this formula. If you are interested to calculate the corrosion rate in mile per year, which is more general formula, you can use the formula 0.129 multiplied by I corrosion into E omega, here EW, equivalent weight, divided by the D. So equivalent weight is of a material is known, D is known. You just calculate the I corrosion, you can get the value of CR. Okay. So here is one relationship. Let's say there is a variety of unit: milliampere per centimeter square, mm per year, mpy, g. So these how you can correlate. This conversion can be understood by using this equation. Like milliampere per centimeter square is 1, then in millimeter per year become this, mile per year is become this, gram per meter square per day is become like this. So any interconversion can be done by using this equation. So now the question is how to measure the polarization resistance. So there are basically 3 techniques to measure the polarization resistance. So the system will be polarized, but how we are going to measure it? So there are 3 different ways we are going to discuss here. So first is linear polarization technique. So linear polarization technique means we are going to apply continuous current and we are going to measure change in the potential. So estimate instantaneous corrosion rate under various process conditions. The corrosion current is inversely proportional to polarized resistance. Polarization resistance to be normalized directly into the corrosion rate. Usually linear polarization measurement are executed within 10 minutes. It's very fast. The current as a function of applied potential follows a linear trend. So the slope of E I plot in the polarization resistance. So as you have already seen before, if you have current versus voltage plot, and that will be linear, and based on that slope of that plot we can calculate the polarization resistance. So figure is again given here. In x-axis you have the current, in the y-axis you have the potential relative to the millivolt. So see, if you just plot these 2 quantity, change in the current with respect to the observed voltage change, you can see like this way. If you just take the slope, value of these 2, we can get the value of Rp. So corrosion current is calculated using the Stern-Gary equation. Rp already known. Use the, we have already discussed earlier, Stern-Gary equation. Use this formula, value of the anodic and cathodic Tefel slope known from the estimated value of the polarization resistance. You can calculate the value of Rp. So Tefel constants are Ba and Bc to determine independently using the Tefel equation. or by using TEFL technique, we can also calculate the value of BA and BC independently in another experiment with the same setup and then measure the eye corrosion. The slope of linear progression curve is controlled mainly by eye corrosion. And most of the cases, when we are having very small range, let's say around 20 millivolt, the BA and BC value are assumed fixed, and then we can say eye corrosion is almost related with this formula. Eye corrosion is equals to 0.026 RP. So it's directly proportional here. If you are having not so much high voltage, then we can use this formula when we are going to calculate the eye corrosion. This equation used to calculate the corrosion rate of a system without the knowledge of electrokinetic parameter, because BC and BA is going to tell about what kind of electrode kinetics are there. But if that is not, polarization is not very high, over voltage is very small, then just ignoring these 2 points, we can calculate this. So a qualitative data we can get in this case, like what kind of differences are there in corrosion rate. Let's say if you are comparing 2-3 systems, so then you can say, let's say all other parameter we are not having that much concern. We are just trying to compare these two setups. So you use this general formula. So this approximation may not always result in accurate corrosion estimate. However, this equation provides a basic for rapid corrosion evaluation study. So a fast evaluation we can do. It will not take much time. It will be very quick. Now move to the next technique, that is the galvanostatic technique. So here the constant current steps are applied. In first case, we were applying a continuous varying current and we were looking what is the change in the potential. In this case, rather than applying a continuous varying current, let's say apply a fixed voltage, a step of a current. Let's say we applied a 10 microampere current, then 15 microampere current, then 20 microampere current, then 25 microampere current, like this step. And in each step, what is the potential? That is your over potential. So constant current step are applied for a predetermined duration. Means for 1 minute or maybe for 5 minutes each or maybe for 10 minutes each, and to measure the over voltage. The polarization resistance curve you can plot by the point which you have observed in each step. The slope at the origin of the plot giving the polarization resistance. Then again similar as in first case, we can get the slope and then we can find out the value of resistance. So here you can see the plot. So plot is similar. In x-axis you have current density, in y-axis we have the over potential, and we have three setup. One is cadmium electrode, the middle one. We have zinc nickel electrode, this one, and we have nickel zinc and P electrode, the third one. So see, these are the step, whatever the points you are looking, let's say the one data only, this sample. So these are the one data. Means when there is a change in the current, when applying the zero current, getting this data, getting this data, getting. So this is not having very good change, but see this sequential change is there. So when you are having positive current, you are getting voltage positive. When you are getting negative current, applying negative current, we are getting the negative voltage. So this is the each step voltage, step applied current with respect to step voltage. But after plotting, it will become a linear plot. So by linear plot, you can just estimate the RP. So here they are just comparing these three different systems. And in this case, this is, they have calculated the variation in the corrosion potential and corrosion rate for different coatings. So one sample is nickel, ZnP, cadmium, and this. What is the change in the corrosion potential? What is the change in the corrosion current? And then what is the CR, corrosion rate? So I would suggest you just write down these two problems. Example 1, the exchange current densities for a hydrogen evolution reaction on three different metals are 5 into 10 to the power minus 4 ampere per centimeter square, 3 into 10 to the power minus 7 ampere per centimeter square, and 5 into 10 to the power minus 11 ampere per centimeter square respectively. Calculate the current densities, means I, and the polarization resistance, means Rp, if the reaction proceed at eta is already given minus 0.08 volt versus SHE, standard hydrogen electrode. The electrode surface area is 1 centimeter and alpha is given at 0.5. Then if you can calculate Rp for these three different samples, then what is the value in the next question? Example next, calculate the corrosion current for the metal in example this. Basically this 5.1 is the example. I would say example 2. Using the Stern-Gary equation for cathodic and anodic Tafel slope of BC is already given. Estimate the corrosion rate in MPY. So means in first equation you have to identify Rp, and the things are very easy. I and eta is already given, and once you calculated Ip, you just calculate I corrosion here, I corrosion, and then based on the I corrosion you have to calculate the CR, corrosion rate. This is the question. So this is the question whatever we have already discussed previously. Now the third topic is, or the third method to calculate the corrosion potential is open circuit potential. Open circuit potential versus time. Like with respect to time, what is the change in the open circuit potential? Based on that value, we can also estimate the corrosion current. So the change in the open circuit potential versus time of the corroding metal is determined the OCP as a function of time. The open circuit, so what do we mean by the open circuit potential? So we are not applying any current, or we are not applying any potential. What is the potential we are observing with reference to the reference electrode? That is known as the open circuit potential. And this is particularly thermodynamic parameter, means based on the thermodynamics of the system or the electrochemical cell, we are going to observe different value of OCP. So if there is an electrochemical reaction is happening due to the corrosion, the thermodynamics condition will be changed, are going to be changed, and that change is going to give the difference in the OCP. So the more positive potential means the material has a noble behavior. This means less affected by the electrolyte. Means if we are observing the OCP and we are getting more positive value in OCP, means relative terms is compared. Let's say we have two samples, sample A and B. If sample B has higher value of OCP, positive value as compared to the sample A, then B has lesser chance to get the corrosion, or the corrosion rate will be lesser in case of B sample. So here just measure the open circuit potential of different metal. You can make a list and get an idea which metal is going to corrode faster. So you can see one example here, the e-corrosion versus time plot for various alloy coating. That is emerging 0.5 mole Na2SO4 plus 0.5 mole boric acid solution at a pH of 7. So you can see here the steel is almost flat and which is having minus 0.6 volt. Similarly, zinc nickel phosphate is almost minus 0.65, then decrease. See the CD cadmium, this value is here again slightly minus 0.8, but that is also switching after some time. Means for some time it becomes stable, then some corrosion happened. So even see, this transition is very important. This shows after this much time there is a corrosion. Similarly, this transition again give us one idea, like at what particular time there is corrosion if we are not applying any potential. Even there is a huge change in the current. So the open circuit potential plot of zinc nickel shows three distinct plateaus occurring at three different potential, namely zero point 0.1, minus 0.7, and then minus 0.4 volt, and which correspond to three different phase. Zinc rich phase, which is basically occurring at minus 1.05 at the beginning. Then an intermediate gamma phase, because it's having three different phases. That's why we are observing this kind of. So first phase is stable, then second phase, and then the stability of the third phase. A nickel rich alpha phase. So I think I would stop here. And today we have just talked about one topic, that was the corrosion measurement by electrochemical polarization method. So in electrochemical polarization method, first of all, we calculate the value of corrosion resistance or polarization resistance, and polarization resistance is the measure of slope when we are plotting the current versus voltage when your over voltage is very small. And by using Stern-Gary equation, we can calculate the I corrosion, means corrosion current, based on the value of corrosion resistance. And then based on the I corrosion current, we can calculate the corrosion rate. And then you can even convert for in any kind of value of RP. Either we can use a linear polarization, or we can use the galvanostatic technique, or even open circuit potential can be also understood. So these are the three different approaches to measure the corrosion resistance or a corrosion rate of a material, right? So that is